Welcome back to the kitchen, everybody. This is your boy, the Mad Chef, and tonight we are launching yet again another brand new segment to the channel that I'm going to be calling Gourmet Sandwiches. This is where I put my Mad Chef spin on some of the most iconic, legendary, and culturally significant sandwiches of all time. Not just in the United States, but across the globe. And guys, if there are any sandwiches you would like for me to cover in this segment, just comment them down below, and I promise I will do my best to try to make some, if not all of these. Alright, so let's kick this off in the US of A, in one of my favorite regions to cook from, one of my favorite states for food, and that is Louisiana. Now, I've never been to Louisiana, but if you guys have been watching my channel for a while, you know I love Louisiana cuisine, especially Cajun cuisine. And since we're in Louisiana tonight, not physically, but food-wise, we're in Louisiana tonight, so you guys might already know what we're going to be making. They have a singular iconic sandwich, and that is the po' boy. Now, guys, just a little history on the po' boy. It does stand for literally poor boy, because this is a cheap meal for, you know, the lower class people that were working there. Just basically with whatever they had at the time, just thrown together on a sandwich for a quick lunch. It was to sustain the working person that didn't make a lot of money. But from there, it kind of evolved into this beautiful thing, and it became sort of a iconic dish that came out of the Louisiana subculture of food. And I love it. Now, guys, most notably, they're known for the shrimp po' boy, which includes like fried shrimp and a lot of seasonings, and it's fully dressed and whatnot. But I've also seen it with chicken in the form of a popcorn chicken sort of thing. So while we don't eat seafood here, we do eat popcorn chicken. And if you guys didn't tune in a couple weeks ago, I've already covered how to make popcorn chicken. But we're going to give this a little Louisiana twist. So tonight we're going to be making some Cajun popcorn chicken po' boys. And we're going to be serving them with some crispy fries. Nothing special going on there. Just, you know, 6 red potatoes that I've sliced into some steak fries that are currently soaking to get rid of their starches. And we're just going to put salt on them. Just some good old-fashioned home fries. Now, that being said, let's get started with the chicken. And the first thing that we have here is 3 boneless, skinless chicken breasts that I've cut into roughly about 1-inch or 1.5-inch cubes. Kind of bite-sized like we did last time. And now we got to marinate these. But we're going to use a more spice-oriented marinade. So in this bowl is 2 cups of buttermilk. And to it, we're going to be adding 1 teaspoon of kosher salt, 1 teaspoon of ground white pepper, 2 teaspoons of smoked paprika, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, and a half a teaspoon of cayenne. Get some of those Creole flavors starting to blend in with this. And we're just going to mix this up really good. Yeah, a whisk really would have made my life easier right about now, but I only have 1 clean whisk, and I got to use that for something else. Alright, and now that we've got a very nicely combined marinade, we're just going to toss this chicken right in, fully submerging all of our little pieces here. Making sure every inch of the surface area of these chickens get covered with that nice flavorful marinade. Now guys, you could technically marinate this for longer than 30 minutes, but we're doing this weeknight style, okay? You can go as far as an hour, or if you're feeling really fancy, you can do this overnight. But we're doing this for 30 minutes because that's going to do the job. So now that we've got our chicken marinating and our timer set for about 30 minutes, we're also going ahead and preheating our pot of oil over a medium-high heat. We're looking for about 375 degrees. 350 will work, but I like that 375 because it gives a little extra crispiness to the chicken. And while that's happening, we're going to go ahead and work on our breader for our popcorn chicken. And if you remember the last video with the popcorn chicken, you noticed that I mentioned a little something about me running out of breading, and a lot of those pieces were kind of thin on it. We're not playing that game this time around. We're going in with 3 cups of all-purpose flour, and then we're going to hit it up with a half a cup of cornstarch. We're going to go ahead and get that really well acquainted, get that mixed in, get that crispiness going. All right, and to it, we're going to be seasoning this up with 3 tablespoons of our Cajun seasoning. Now, I know that this sounds like a lot of seasoning, but there's a lot of breading in here. So we're just going to go ahead and add this in batches. I'm watching to see if there's an excess of seasonings, but we got to make sure we have enough to fully coat all of our chicken pieces. Yeah, this is going to work out just fine. And what you'll be left with is something like this. So I'll see you guys again in about 30 minutes for breading, and I'll meet you at the stove. All right, so it's been 30 minutes and it's time to get our perfectly marinated chicken into our breading mixture. So what we're going to do is take a small handful of our chicken chunks and place it in the bowl. We're going to be breading this quite differently than last time, and it's not going to get our hands quite as dirty. So what we're going to do is toss our chicken pieces in the bowl with the seasoned breading. This is cleaner than actually getting our hands dirty and provides a better layer of coating. And after we've given our chicken a few nice aggressive tosses in this breading mixture, this is what our pieces should look like. And that's also why we're doing this in small batches, because the more chicken you add to the bowl, the less space it has to dance around in that nice breading and get coated evenly. And guys, please don't be alarmed if it looks like you have an excessive amount of flour on the bottom of whatever pan you're using to store your breaded chicken. Guys, this is only going to work in our favor as we go on, because as we continue to cook this chicken, any pieces that look like they've been under breaded, we're going to roll around in this extra flour. And guys, I had no bald chicken. All my pieces were perfectly breaded and crispy. And now that all of our chicken pieces are done, I'm going to waste no time and drain out my potatoes and get them dried and ready for the fryer, because as soon as the chicken comes out, the potatoes are going to go in. So I'll see you at the stove. Alright guys, so the cooking of this chicken is pretty much going to be about identical to the last video we did on popcorn chicken. We're just going to add it in small batches at a time and cook it for about 4 minutes. Now, one pro tip I do want to give you guys is to go in after the first minute and start breaking apart that chicken inside of the pot or deep fryer, whatever you're using. The reason why I say this is a lot of times when you're cooking smaller battered chicken pieces, they will kind of all congregate in one part of the pot and become one giant hunk of chicken. And sometimes when that chicken gets really heavy and dense, it lives at the bottom of the pot or deep fryer, and sometimes it can burn or char. A couple of my pieces ended up doing that, and they weren't completely burnt, but they did have just a little too much char for my liking. So try to break it apart after the first minute, and then again at 2 minutes. And by 4 minutes, this is what our chicken should look like. All nice, golden brown, beautiful, and crispy. And guys, this smells so amazing. Now, if you guys end up still having bigger chunks of fused chicken, kind of like I do, sometimes that's unavoidable. Cook them on for another minute or two longer to make sure that chicken is done on the inside. But usually 4 minutes does, pretty much does the job here. And now that our last batch of popcorn chicken is out, I'm, again, not going to waste any time, and our fries are going to go right in. You guys know how we do fries here, about 4 to 6 minutes until they're nice, light, golden brown, and crispy, and then we're going to salt them immediately. And now that we've got our first batch of fries down, it's time to go to the next step. And we're going to elevate this already iconic cultural sandwich one step further by creating a cool and creamy Cajun sub dressing. So what's in the bowl is 3/4 of a cup of Mexican table cream or crema, and we're going to add to it 2 teaspoons of our Creole Cajun seasoning. Get that whisked together really, really nice. Guys, if you don't have Mexican table cream, you can substitute this with either mayo or sour cream, but I don't really like either of those. And we're going to brighten this up with just a splash of lime juice, not too much because we don't want to make our sauce runny. We're just trying to cut through some of that fatty flavor and add some brightness and some freshness with that lime juice. Not too much. You don't want it to be too obvious, just to give it a little lift. And we also don't want it to be watery or runny, so we still need somewhat of a medium viscosity to this. So we're going to go ahead and taste test and check for seasoning. And yes, this sauce is at the absolute right consistency that I'm looking for. On first impression, it tastes okay, but it is definitely needing salt. But that's not all it's needing. It needs a little kick. It's not exactly the right level of Cajun. So we're going to go ahead and revitalize this sauce with just a nice hefty pinch of kosher salt and a slight pinch of cayenne pepper. Not even 1/4 teaspoon, just a little bit. We're going to give that another mix around, and then we're going to try it again, and oh my lord, it is exactly everything that I want in a sub dressing. Now that this is all wrapped up and ready to roll, and guys, I am just super excited about this. I'm feeling really good about it. All we got to do now is wait for those fries to finish cooking, and then we can assemble our colossal Cajun popcorn chicken po' boys. And guys, I cannot tell you enough how much I'm looking forward to this. Now we need to talk about bread, and what this is a nice large loaf of French bread that I got from my local Walmart bakery. Now, as time goes on, I'll be making my own breads, but for right now, this is more sustainable since I do have limited funds at the moment, and for $1, a big giant loaf of French bread is just unbeatable. $1 for all this bread. And so what we're doing now is taking a nice serrated bread knife. We're going to cut a nice opening inside of the French bread, trying not to separate the top from the bottom. And then we're going to try to cut it equally into halves. We're going to be making po' boys two different ways because mine and my wife's preferences are very different. So the half on the left is going to belong to my wife, and we're going to start that off with a nice thick coating of mayo. Those of you that know me know I can't stand mayo. Yes, say what you will. Now guys, we're gonna load this up to the brim with this nice Cajun popcorn chicken. I don't know if you guys have ever seen a true Louisiana po' boy, but they fill those things up to the gill. They don't believe in being cheap, and there's usually a ton of meat. Whatever kind of meat you're getting, they just load it up. They're not cheap with it. So we're gonna do the same and load this up as much as we can without, extending the limitations of the bread. Yes, common sense does need to be used. If you notice your bread is starting to crack apart or starting to lose stability, just take out the meat. All right, and for the wife, she's going to have a nice layer of American cheese on hers. And then, of course, mine is going to be topped with some nice Swiss cheese because that's going to complement the flavors. And we're going to put this on, yes, a pizza pan. I know this is a little unorthodox, but I've literally used all my baking pans and now cutting boards in one day. I've used all of them. You know that video that you saw last week? Yeah. That was just recorded about 3 hours before this video was filmed. Yeah, I know, Mad Chef problems. But you're welcome. Your boy stays busy. Then we're going to just slam these in the oven that's been preheating at 350 degrees. And we're going to cook them for about 5 to 6 minutes. All that we're trying to achieve here is get a nice, crusty, crunchy top on our French bread and get some good cheese melt going on. Nothing really more than that. All right, and after about 6 minutes, this is what our sandwiches look like, and it's time to dress the rest of them. We're going to just put a nice light layer of lettuce on the Food Bandit sub, and on mine, we're just going to go with regular lettuce. And then after that, some nice homemade pickles. None of that pre-jarred stuff, guys. And I don't know if you guys have watched the video where I make fried pickles on the channel. I'm using the exact same brine for that. But if you guys are new or haven't watched it, don't worry. I'll be making pickles later on for some of the stuff I have going on this week, and I'll be taking you guys with me on that journey. And after that, we're going to go in with our nice, cool, creamy Cajun sub dressing that I'm really, really proud of. And the wife likes a lot of sauces, so we loaded hers down really good. And I'm a light sauce kind of guy. I want just enough to complement the flavors of what's going on there without making things soggy or overpowering the sandwich. Then for a little extra flavor and color and garnish at the end, just a little sprinkle of smoked paprika on top of all of this. And to bring it all together, just a light dusting of parsley. And these things are monstrous. Hopefully I can get mine close enough to where I can eat it. And it's time to serve. Alright guys, and that is it. And this is the reveal, and I can tell you honestly that each of the individual items used on this sandwich is absolutely of the best quality that I can make it. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make the bread, but that is coming soon. Soon on these gourmet sandwich videos. I'm going to venture into making my own breads as soon as I get some more finances rolling in. But then again, for tonight, this is the most sustainable thing that I can do. Honestly, we didn't even need to make the fries for this because, let's face it, this is a meal in and of itself. But I feel like we had to do something about it, so it's time to chow down on this. Nothing but bread. But that is some insanely good bread, though. There it is. Ooh, that creaminess from the sauce is combining in with the seasoned chicken. And that is such a good touch. It needs a bit of a creamy element to back off of some of the spiciness of the chicken, which really isn't super spiciness, but this adds another dimension of flavor and some extra fat. Combine them with those pickles for good acidity. This is a very flavorful sandwich. And of course, there is never a time when fries aren't great. This is a solid good meal. Okay, Louisiana folks, tell me how I did. This is Cajun popcorn chicken. Po' boy, I try to stay true to the original Louisiana way of doing this as much as I could with a little Mad Chef twist. Alright guys, and like I said earlier, if there's anything you would like to see me make on this new segment of the channel called Gourmet Sandwiches, please list them below. But I have a couple of conditions. No grilled cheese hacks and no PB&J hacks. That is lazy people food. A 5-year-old can make each. And again, why do those things need viral hacks? They are easy to begin with. I'm talking about real culturally significant sandwiches that mean something, that represent a subgroup of people in this planet. It does not have to be America. It can be all over the globe. And guys, I want to thank you all for supporting me in this, and I will see you in the next video.